Well, this is the meeting of the Beach Committee on October 26th. There's only 2 of us here, so we do not have a quorum, and we will not be taking any actions, votes. But we have asked, and she has graciously appeared, our town clerk, Kristen Stinson, is here to talk, give a little talk about the new beach pass procedure that will be coming up, hopefully online in December. We were hoping that everything's safe, but we are gonna go electronic and doing a lot of stuff online. So if you would like to come up, Kristen, and just talk about it.
Sure. Where's the best place for me to be?
Right up there.
Great. All right. Well, as you just said, I'm working on trying to put us online for next year for 2024's beach passes. I am currently working on the language for the website. It will be set up through the same system, the City Hall system where we pay taxes. And it's a form, so residents will fill it out and be able to get all of their approvals through there, upload documents, get everything set, pay. Then we will approve it in our office and mail out stickers. There you go. That's basically the whole process. We're waiting.
Basically, everything's gonna be done online. They're gonna fill out a similar beach pass application.
Right.
And provide the same information, proof of residency is what we always look at, or proof of taxpayer status.
Right, exactly. And then they'll receive a printed out document that has the sticker on it, and then the stickers get peeled away, and you just put them on your window. We're gonna pick one spot to have them for everyone always, so the police can recognize them easily.
We do have a quorum.
Oh,
What
you
are you
have a
here?
quorum. Look at that.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Well, we just started.
I pledge allegiance to the
There we go.
So,
How are you?
so
Yeah,
I'm
ask me
assuming we're
questions.
gonna have to set up some policies. We need to set up some policies as to where to put the sticker, so it's it's a
Yes.
consistent
Yeah,
location of the sticker on every car, so the police aren't searching every
Right.
car, walking around every car looking for stickers.
we need to discuss whether or not we're going to put beach rules or anything on the back, or whether or
I
not
would-
we're only going to have something on the front. I think this is a sample of what the front would look like generally. And that would give directions specifically to where people post, or where people put it, all of the details there. And then it still has the same verification requirements. So people will have to upload documents, as well as the system will cross-reference it with the census. So, because I'll be uploading the census weekly, so if you haven't done your census, then you won't be able to get a beach pass.
And just to remind people, the census is the yearly town census. People think it's the census that the US does
No.
every 10 years.
The yearly town census will go out in January, and we will need that up until a certain date. We will accept last year's census, and then after that, we will only accept passes for this year's census, which is the same as it's been in the past. Nothing has really changed in the verification process. It's just that it's gonna be automated.
So what are you anticipating the length of time between when somebody submits an application and when they get an actual sticker?
Well, you really wanna ask that?
I don't, but everybody else will.
I would like to consider having a printable temporary pass when people pay for it, being able to print that for a 7-day pass, put it in the window, and then they would get their, as soon as they're approved, they would get a pass. And that would be about 7 days, and then once a week, we will print out all of our beach passes and mail them out. So it should be less than a week.
So someone who comes in, someone who submits something on a Friday afternoon, as long as they're qualified, will be able to get a temporary pass. So they won't have to go into panic mode at the weekend like most
Right,
people
yeah,
usually
that's
do.
something I think the beach committee needs to discuss, to be honest with you, whether or not you wanna do temporary passes or whether or not you don't. But the temporary passes, as I understand it, are like half a sheet of paper that are put in the same spot with a huge expiration date, so, people can't use them beyond that date. I think, I haven't seen a sample of it, but
Sure.
I believe that's what that is. So as long as they get approved, they can print that, they can put it there and expect to see their ticket, their, sticker in the mail within a week.
And if there's a problem with the application, and there will be on some, obviously.
There will be,
For various
yeah.
reasons, what would be the turnaround time before we could straighten that out? I mean, they would send these back to you and we would need to act on it, or somebody needs to do something?
It
right?
depends on what the situation is, what needs to be researched, or if I need different documents. But it won't be that, in previous years, they mailed the beach passes back right away, if there was
Right.
anything missing. I didn't do that last year. I chose not to do that. Instead, we contacted everybody and had them send us, email or drop off the information that we needed instead of just sending it back. And it would be similar to that. The City Hall system sends us everybody, and then, if they're not approved automatically because all of the, rules have been met, then it'll give it to us to review, and we'll review it, and hopefully we will do that quickly. But if there's something that we're really struggling with, we'll contact the resident. So, see what we can do from there. But I think probably the largest issues are gonna be with trusts, ensuring that we have the information we need for our trust. Because it's not a required document to be uploaded.
Right.
So if people don't upload it, then I'll be tracking down people to get copies of their trust, even though it will be noted that we need it. But even in the paper world, I had to follow up on the trusts a lot. So, but I think it'll be a speedy process, and for residents who are very, very uncomfortable with the online process, we will have some
Hunt that off.
applications.
Some,
But I'm going to strongly encourage people time-wise,
IT
because
support.
if we have, we would be willing to, answer some questions and help people and help them get through this year. And if they do not have online access, I'm sure we can work something out with them with a paper application.
I'm wondering if we could set up something at the library. Library has
Possibly.
computers that you can.
Yeah.
If there's some way we could have, it's people who don't have
Yeah,
that type of access, that's the place they
yeah,
can go to upload things.
Yeah, I mean- yeah, the senior center,
Oh, yeah,
they could probably do something
a
like
place
that.
where they can go,
Yeah. I would even consider doing like a help day, something like that, where I would be willing to meet with people and help them process some or something like that, do it that way.
How about-
So if that was, we'll look at that closer, but
I
I could find time to help at the senior center, or, for an hour one
Well, I'm
day.
thinking you could probably tape something, a little tutorial
Yeah.
online that could run on the cable TV. Some kind of, going through the steps, just filling
I
out the form.
really don't enjoy that, public speaking. I don't know how many times I have to tell everybody.
Doesn't everybody have a grandchild?
Yeah,
Right.
right. Hey, can you do this?
Any of you want to do a tutorial? So I'm going to have a few questions for you all as the beach committee, but I don't know if you want to do that here or if you want to do that some other time, so it's,
It's probably a suggestion to do it in front of a full board,
yeah,
only because,
okay.
Right,
I can also just send it to you and you can review it.
if you
because
have a
they're
bunch
just
of questions,
few-
we can go over if we something.
Yeah, I can do that. And the timeline, I'm trying to get it moving forward, but there are, things that we're waiting on, so we'll see what happens, but it's gonna happen this year.
That's great.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
It'll be part
hopefully-
of a larger automated process. We'll start doing other things online as
It
well.
only took 15 years to get the current beach pass kind of in place, so.
Right, yeah. Well, hopefully this will go smoothly,
Yeah.
That's great.
that's all. Yeah.
And the cost of the system, is that something?
So we already have the system in place.
Right,
Because it's part of the treasurer's package with with Kelly and Ryan's City Hall systems.
okay,
So we're using something that is already being used.
that's super.
So it'll be the same way you connect as if you're paying your taxes. It'll be a little bit different because of the uploading of documents and such, but there'll be directions there, there'll be a page that explains what you need to do. And then the cost for the town, there's an individual cost per pass.
Sure.
And then for residents, there is a cost. If they pay with their credit card, it's a percentage. I don't know exactly what that is.
Yeah,
3%.
But
Yeah, I
if you
know.
pay with your bank account, which a lot of people have that saved already in the Kelly and
yeah,
Ryan
there's
system.
it's a convenience fee or whatever they
Right.
call it or something. It's like, it's a couple bucks, I think.
Right, so then that would, in some ways that might be less expensive. Also, if you're doing many things at one time, there's only really the one charge.
Right, so if you're getting your dog license. and your-
Right, so if you're
landing
doing
sticker
several
and-
things on there, you can combine several things. And I won't be able to do everything right away just because of some, the different departmental things, but I'll be rolling in new online access throughout the year probably.
Right, I
Yeah.
would imagine it's going to save a lot of time and,
I think it'll save time in our office. The processing of beach passes is the most significant process. It's a lot
Sure.
for the office.
What are you
The
gonna do with all your
other
free time?
aspects are.
What are you gonna do?
I
What are you
will
gonna do with all
find
your
things
free
to do
time?
with my free time. Don't worry. I'm working on things all the time, but yeah, and people will still be able to come into the office, like to get a dog license or to do things like that. That's
You
and
discourage
I'm not
that.
even sure if we can do the shell fishing online yet. I'm not sure how that will work. So there's still things I'm working through to see if I can do
The town landing
them.
permit's gonna be.
Town landing is through the select board.
I know. Different.
So at this point, the town landings and the state boat ramp, I may be able to add them in and roll them into it. We'll still have to manually have to process those because we're not gonna purchase stickers for that. We'll still we don't do enough of them
Sure.
to purchase a different color sticker.
mm,
So,
They've been the same color for years.
Yeah.
right, yeah, so we would still just hand do them, so that's something that I think is approachable, but it's not. Hicksbridge isn't my wheelhouse, but I think if I'm gonna start rolling things in, I'll start talking to other departments and see what we can do, but I can't guarantee anything at all in that realm.
Yeah, because Hicksbridge, they never require any, all you do is walk in with your registration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They
a
don't
residency
They don't ask
thing,
you anything about, where you live or
yeah.
even.
Well, Hicksbridge, they
Yeah,
do a
they're supposed to
residency,
know.
it's the state ramp that they don't do residency, right?
But
Right.
Hicksbridge, they don't ask for documentation.
There isn't that many. I don't know how many stickers to go to Hicksbridge anymore.
Yeah.
It's probably 300 or 400.
It
I
might be
think.
one of those situations where they just know who the person is.
mm.
It's possible. I don't
Did
really know,
regulars.
but I don't wanna say that. I can't speak for their process, you know?
Okay. Well,
Um,
I think,
any other questions? You guys?
I guess in terms of this board, we're just, it's not costing anything out of our budget?
yeah, it is.
It is.
Okay.
We pay for it.
Okay,
So we have to appropriate for, this is gonna be tricky.
Well, we've already requested higher fees.
Right,
Effective.
to make everybody aware out there that we have suggested the increase in beach pass fees from $35 to $50 for the general pass, and for senior citizens from $15 to $25 to cover a lot of these costs. It will also cover the lifeguard costs, which, to be competitive and actually attract lifeguards to our beach, we had to increase the pay. So,
thank you.
this is gonna be tricky, because I'm not sure how this is gonna work, only because we have a line item in our budget
Right,
for the beach pass printing,
right. So that.
which
would
is
be
like
that
$800, which is
right
like
there.
$800. So we have to,
Well, so far, it's a budget.
Right.
And budgets exist to,
But the problem is she has to pay, when do you have to pay for all these things? I'm assuming in the next couple of months you're gonna have to pay.
Oh, yeah, so I'll have to pay for the stickers, sooner because there's a lead time on that, so I
So we're
would
gonna have to
pay
transfer
for that.
more funds in the spring because
you know,
we
Right.
work a calendar year and unfortunately the fiscal year runs July. We
Right.
work January.
But if you haven't already budgeted the increase in the fees,
No, we haven't budgeted the increase in fees, but we didn't budget for the increase in labor costs and we didn't budget for the
But if-
increase for this. So we don't have the money to do this
you know.
without going to town meeting and
Well,
transferring.
but yeah, so it all gets kicked down the road to town meeting and then.
But the only budget we can submit at this point, because we're not having a fall town meeting, we can't transfer funds until July 1 of next year.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure how this is gonna work, I'll have to ask
Well, you
Jim about
kick it-
that.
and talk to
kick it
Jim
down the road-
about it,
Kick it down the road.
see how it works,
Yeah,
yeah.
So in the event, I know that we recommended that they increase the fee for beach passes. Now it's up to the selectmen to.
they
vote
have to
on it?
hold and I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of fee increases across the board. They had to hold a fee increase hearing,
Mhm,
public hearing, has to be advertised.
Sure.
There's a statute, you have to follow.
I believe they've been doing a fee study, so.
In the
So
event they didn't increase the fee, would we still be able to move forward?
we
with
would be
this?
in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
We have to transfer a lot of funds out of our enterprise fund. But we can't do it at town meeting, so we won't be able to do anything until whenever town meeting is, let's say May. But that only controls next year's budget, starting July 1st. It doesn't control this year's budget, of
Right.
which we're over on our personnel item, lifeguard,
Sure.
by, I think, 15,000 we'll be over. And then we'll definitely be over
Yeah,
on
you'll
beach
be
pass
over after
printing.
this, yeah.
Yeah, by
The-
about $4 or $5 grand, so.
Yeah, I believe the dollar per pass comes as a, regular, like, we don't know how many passes we're gonna have, so that part, so there's that,
Yeah.
which is the printing.
so.
And
fine.
then the software cost, the processing, all of that is $1 per pass. So
Oh, boy.
that's,
There's gonna be some scrambling going on, that's why.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have the money in our enterprise fund, but we can't transfer it until town meeting, and that will only take place after July
Yeah.
1st.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
But she'll need the money well in advance
Yeah.
of that.
That's the only town meeting we can go to?
well, typically, sometimes there's a fall town meeting, November, December, but there isn't
In
one.
the spring.
Yeah, but the spring is only controls the next year's budget.
yeah, it won't help for this year.
It doesn't help for this
Yeah,
year's
well-
budget. If we had a town meeting in the fall, we could transfer this money to a article in the town meeting. We could transfer all this money out and we'd be all set. So I'm a little nervous going into June next year
Sure.
because we needed $4 or $5 grand to open the beach before July 1st comes.
Mhm.
And we're already over on
Yeah.
that.
So is that something we need to set up a meeting with the town administrator or somebody to discuss how to move forward?
Because I'm sure Kristen doesn't have the money in her budget to pay for this. So I don't know how, okay, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out because it's gonna happen.
Me and
One
all
way
my
or the other,
bright
we're gonna figure it
ideas.
out.
I think it's great.
I think it's great. We appreciate,
Ultimately, the amount of time that we pay the assistant town clerk to do this
Sure.
is, maybe that you weren't seeing that because it wasn't coming out of your budget, but it's a lot of man hours.
Yeah.
And
No, we-
they
we-
add up significantly
Mhm.
financially.
yeah,
so.
we were paying like 1 cent an hour. I forgot how much money comes out of our budget
Right,
to reimburse you, so
right.
to speak, and it's not nearly enough as what the time involved was.
Right,
So,
yeah, so, I mean, and we're still going to be doing things in our office
Right.
daily related to beach passes, but it will be a much easier, much
Yeah,
more direct path to getting it done, but, so the money would be spent either way, it's just it's not as obvious, you know, when,
Yeah.
No, I mean,
so, yeah.
it's, we should be okay once we get everything straightened
Yeah,
out.
you just
This year
transfer
kinda,
things
this year
and
kind of
things, yeah.
screwed us up because of the lifeguard, the change in lifeguard pay
Right.
and things along that line. We weren't anticipating,
Yeah, I understand.
such large overruns, let's put it that way.
I understand.
We do have the money, so we will be able to take care of it. I'm just not sure of the process to do that, but
Yeah,
one way or another, this is gonna happen.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
okay, great.
Do you wanna keep that? I mean, does anybody care about that? Okay.
Good.
I have it all in my emails, so, you know.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah.
I'll reach out maybe via email with the questions that I
Okay.
have, because I do need to know a couple things before I can move forward
Sure.
with my end, but I'll draft stuff and then send it to you and say, is this okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right. Thanks, enjoy the rest of your meeting, I'm gonna just sneak
Yeah.
right on out of here.
thank you.
Okay, I would do the minutes, but it's odd that we don't have a quorum for either one of the minutes that I have in front of us. Because in one meeting, Woody and I were here, but there were only two of us. And then the other one, you and I are here, but there's only two of us, so we don't have three to take a vote on. So we'll move past that line item. I went to the Selectmen Monday night with the increase in the beach pass fee. They are going to hold a hearing. I didn't hear any negative, you know, at the hearing. We may hear something, I'm not sure what's going on. Hiring lifeguards for next year. When do you think we should kick it off?
I would think almost immediately.
I saw your little
Depending on-
email about the,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we should start going out, you know, start posting these things just to.
I did see that the school is, the high school is gonna be, going to be teaming up, I guess, with some area schools, for swim team. That's to, you know, at least get them something, in regards to the lifeguard position, making them aware of it. I think we have quite a few that are going to be returning, but it'll be nice to get the
Mike
word
had
out
mentioned
there.
8.
Yeah.
I think he had mentioned that 8, maybe 9 come back next year.
Yeah, and we're looking at a total of, how many did we have?
Well, we started off with 12 and then
Yeah,
we
whittled
lost
down.
one right away. And then the problem is getting into August. It's when schools start now,
Yeah.
you know. Gone are the days when school started after Labor Day like they used to back in the day. Now it starts in the middle of August, you know, and unfortunately, you know, through no fault of their own, they have to go back to school, you know, at certain times.
I think if we could get something on the scroll, that would be great. I'll research and find out, you know, what we have for upcoming Red Cross lifeguard training. I can call the state again and let them know that we're always looking for
Yeah.
applicants.
Maybe, see if Dana can help us out.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that comes into something that was brought up. The question is, I think there's a desire to have Dana help out because a part-time board, it's more than a part-time board anymore to do some of the things that need to be done during the day.
Well, that's a lot.
And the question, there's a question out there thrown out, is the beach committee, you know, should it be rolled into the recreation committee? Should recreation take it over because it is the biggest recreational site in the town? With a subcommittee as the beach committee that makes recommendations on policies, where Dana, who we can't thank enough what she did this year, would handle the, you know, I don't want to say day-to-day operations because it's really the head lifeguard, but essentially in the May, June critical period, getting everything in order for hiring and everything. I found that if you have a good head lifeguard, a lot of that's pretty
Falls
easy.
into
Like,
place.
I mean, he knows what he needs for equipment, inventory-wise, you know, checks on the truck and everything like that. I mean, it's not hard to check on the truck. Chris Gonsalves does a great job with the duct tape and the bubble gum, keeping our trucks rolling. Next year, we are gonna put an article on for this couple. Article for the fence, article for the gator, article for the storage bin, Waltran storage thing at the end of the road to put all the stuff in, so they're not running back and forth from town
that'll
hall.
make things a lot easier.
Yeah.
I would think partnering with recreation would be a great thing. If, you know, just seeing last year, you need somebody from the town who can sort of be the point person, rather than us. We're all volunteers.
Right.
So
You
it's tough.
need somebody, you know, because contacting me, you know,
Yeah.
during the day or you during the
Everybody's
day,
got-
it's like,
And
Yeah.
most committees like this, even, I mean, you know, they get a secretary.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And we've
The
never-
question is, I don't know how much time Dana has. I don't want to, you know,
Sure.
back up the truck and dump more stuff onto Dana's lap.
I would think if we kept our autonomy and we did the, you know, the brunt of the legwork, if she could be, I mean, she did great in terms of a human resource role,
Yeah.
you know, putting everything together, I'm sure.
Because it's really a 2-month crunch, so
Yeah.
to speak. You know, it's the May, June, get everything in place type
Well, it's
thing.
getting something going in the high school or
Yeah.
some kind of a.
Well, she has the contacts and she has already with the Recreation Committee. So she has the people to talk to at the schools and everything. So
That would be great.
it's whatever, basically it was told, whatever the beach committee wants to do. Do we want to exist as a beach committee or do we want to exist as just a advisory subcommittee to the Recreation Committee with one or two full-time members on the Recreation Committee? Or, and then the question I brought up was, how much time does Dana really have?
Yeah.
You know, she jumped in and helped out tremendously this year.
Mhm.
Does she want to do that every year? I mean,
So
I think
guess-
it'd be easier once, if we had our ducks in a row, so we're not running a fire drill on June 1st,
Yeah.
trying to get somebody in the door. It would be easier for her if we knew, okay, we got 9 coming back, so
Mhm.
we're pretty good, we just gotta get the paperwork all
Yeah.
put
There
together.
could be a process in place. I think that makes sense, but I mean, we can't really make a decision until we know if recreation is willing to take on the responsibility, I would think. And then, if she does, then we could work with her to put that process in place, for however many lifeguards that we need.
Well, I know she's got a big project going, because she just got a $500,000 grant to redo the playground. And both playgrounds, the one and up at Gifford Road. So I fear that, you know, she's gonna have a lot of balls in the air,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be, I feel bad asking,
Mhm.
you know, requesting that she, you know,
Yeah,
Well, if there is a recreation committee meetings, on a regular meetings, if there, and I have no idea who's on it or what they do, but
well, Tim Gillespie is no, he's probably, I think Tim is trying to get, there are 5 on the committee. I think Tim is stepping back, so there's before. But they've really been in charge of doing a completely different thing.
sure.
You know, setting up events and
Yeah,
programs, kids programs and things along that line. That's a little different than running almost a business like the beach committee.
yeah. Yeah, it's a different role.
Yeah, it's a different animal, I guess. And, you know, we can wait, I would prefer waiting for a full board before we take any kind of action. But I think it's something we need to think about, because
Sure.
it's being asked.
I think it makes sense. I mean, even from the lifeguards standpoint,
Well, you need a contact.
yeah, they didn't
person.
know who to call. You know, they'd call you, they'd call me, or
Yeah,
they'd
yeah.
call.
Well,
town.
that's our fault. Well, it was kind of, we were all kind of involved here.
Yeah.
When we put it
Yeah.
together, so it was like, call somebody. You know,
Yeah.
Somebody will call us back. Yeah, it needs to be a point person. There's nobody.
yeah, but now it's, you know, I mean, you do certain things and, you know, and who's got, but these things have to get done.
Yeah,
And
and, yeah, and there's
we
no
can't
desk
rely on
down the hall either, so.
volunteer committee members to do some of this stuff.
Right.
And it's, you know, if there's a daily job, it's gotta be, we gotta figure it out,
Yeah.
who's gonna do it.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a 2-month crunch time, and then then it kind of runs itself during the summer. you
In
know.
terms of getting the word out there now for potential students or individuals who are interested for this upcoming season, do we know what our pay rate would be? Do we need to get anything approved before we advertise?
We have to go
it?
to, personnel approved the new descriptions
Yep,
for the head lifeguards, the head lifeguard. I don't think there's one necessary for the lifeguard. and the pay rate. Uh, But it has to go to town meeting.
Okay.
I don't anticipate an issue at town meeting,
Mhm.
but if all of a sudden the state decides to pay $35 an hour, we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think they're paying 23 an hour now for just a lifeguard.
Right, they
Oh.
28 for the head lifeguard.
Yeah,
And we're at 21, 25.
yeah,
And they have a $600,
Yeah, their bonus.
bonus for the first couple of weeks, and they stay till September, the $600. And we don't have the unlimited funds that the state has
Sure,
to
yeah.
deal with. But it's something we may want to think about very quickly. We've got one more meeting basically to the end of the year.
yeah.
I think we'll stay with the rate that we have now.
Well, I would make a motion that we can place something on community television in regards to the lifeguard position. And we do reach out to Dana and see how we can collaborate with her, even in her current role, in terms of the schools. If we can find out, if we have students who are taking part in the swim program, let's make them aware of the lifeguard positions. Maybe we can scoop up some of them quickly
Right.
for next year.
So that's a motion? Have a
Well, I
second?
would also just add that in dealing with the schools or any group of students, that we at least make some gesture toward paying the cost of the.
Oh, no, we have incentives that we're paying for the cost.
Training.
If you stay, I don't know what it was,
Yeah, it
$200?
was 8 weeks, and then we paid the cost of the lifeguard
We
training.
reimburse for the cost of the certification
And then
and the training.
And the next thing would
$300.
be to try to coordinate with the schools to offer kids the time it takes to.
One of the,
Go do it.
there's a small issue with not being 18.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
terms of the lifeguards,
Yeah.
and we had quite a few that were under the age of 18.
Because they need parental or,
I know we had work permits
Yeah.
signed for all of that.
right.
Well,
I
the
think that's
question is
something
whether
else.
they can get licensed, and then two, whether the school would be able to adjust their schedule so that they could go do it, find the time. If it's on school days.
I think if you had enough people, at a school thing situation, that
They'll
they would
hold
come. Yeah,
hold
they
a
would come.
course for you. Even the state last year said they would put together a course for us. A lot of them were on weekends or evenings that were offered, so I'm sure we could make something work. I would agree
Yeah,
with Woody on that.
that's,
Okay. Motion, is there a second to that amended motion?
I'll make a motion. Sure.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll report back to the town administrator about our discussion, but I'd like to have, the other two members absolutely here to discuss, going forward. I think that was it for the agenda. Member input, anybody have any input, members? I don't believe there's any I didn't look in the box, but I don't see anything in the box, so I don't think there's any unanticipated issues. Our next meeting, which will be in the right Thursday this time. My fault.
Yeah, I got a little worried there.
Well, I was trying to get to the Selectmen's meeting, and I couldn't make the previous one, but I could make the one, so I wanted to go to the Selectmen first to see how they reacted to the pay hike, and then, the fee hike.
Yeah, because I had a better offer anyway last week.
Oh, good for you. My weeks just run one into another. It's just I have meetings every night. I just gotta figure out where I have to be on a certain night, and then I'll be all set. So the next meeting would be November 16th, would be the third Thursday.
Yeah, well, that's a week before Thanksgiving.
Right.
Pretty good, that's good.
So, December, we typically don't meet in December because it's usually too close to Christmas. This year, Christmas on a Monday, so Thursday before, I'll leave it up to the members. See what you would like to do. I'm not sure we have to meet unless there's something pressing. There may be something pressing, we may be denied the fee hike, and we may have to meet just to,
Yeah, figure out how we're gonna.
how we're gonna
move
figure out how
forward.
we're gonna do this.
Sure.
Uh,
Well, I would think even in terms of the new system that they're putting in place for passes, I mean, the town clerk can't really do anything until we have money to give to her to pay for the system, but,
I think they can find the money for that, we just have to reimburse. I think
Okay.
the problem is, that's another, you know, at least the first year, like, could be another 8, 9 grand out of our budget.
yeah.
So we have to plan on that, and if we don't get a fee hike,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to keep borrowing from our little bank account that's getting smaller as we speak every day. So, I think something to think about, anyway. So if nobody has anything, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye.